Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second day of the Cloud for Europe event. In particular, welcome to those that took that challenge to get up that early. And you deserve now a very distinguished panel on the role of cloud computing in the digital service infrastructure. And I will immediately go into the panel and want to introduce to you Margot Dor from the European Telecommunication Standardization Institute, ETSI, Strategy Development. Margot.
Ça marche? Can you hear me? Good morning. Ooh la la, I feel it's early. Huh? I have the task to explain to you what we did with ETSI in the so-called cloud standards coordination in response to a request that we received from, can everybody hear me at the back? Yes? Good morning, first of all. Thank you so much for being here at 8:30. Oh, I see familiar faces in the audience. Hi. Thank you so much for being here at 8:30 on a lovely day, what seems to be a lovely day in Berlin, because I understand yesterday was extremely lively, and last night must have been extremely busy from some of the faces that I see in the room. So thanks so much for being here. I'm with ETSI, the European Telecom Standards Institute, and over the last year, coming to fruition actually on 11 December in Brussels, we put together with a number of partners, other standard organizations, industry players, some of them are in the room, etc., the cloud standards coordination. This is what I'm going to try and explain to you this morning in 5 minutes. The context, well, as you know, and I suspect you might have discussed this at length since yesterday, is the cloud strategy of the Commission, which among the roadblocks to unleashing the potential of cloud computing in Europe, as per the title of the communication, identifies standards, and in particular what they call the jungle of standards is one of the stumbling blocks. And with this, they tasked ETSI to coordinate with stakeholders in a transparent and open way. That was one of to identify a detailed map of the necessary standards for security, interoperability, data portability, reversibility, inter alia. That means that was not necessarily an exhaustive list. It had to be from scratch, open and inclusive, and this is the way we played it. And we, from scratch, also did this in a coordination role. So at the very beginning, some of the question, why is Europe taking on its own standards, making policy, etc.? It was very clear from the beginning that it was not about standards production, it was about standards coordination. It was reusing existing bits and pieces that were produced by other organizations. And it was in view of supporting a number of policy objectives, European policy objectives, such as interoperability, security, and all these things. And indeed, the time frame was a little bit stressing, as those of you in the room who participated knew, because we started, actually we launched last year at the beginning of December, and we will deliver these report and the maps next month. So it was actually a very speed race, if I may say. Very interesting. This is how we got organized. So again, we launched last year, and I'm not going to expand on this too much. There was about 200 people, which is good because there was the critical mass to start organizing the working groups and to start gathering some of the elements that would need to be in these maps. So there were a number of working groups who worked in parallel, but also actually they sort of worked together. The first task group was tasked to identify and qualify roles and stakeholders in the cloud industry. Who was doing what are the business models? What is the flow of the business? And as you can see from the beginning, we started working. So France Télécom is obviously one of the historical, if I may say, ETSI members, but also with the NISA and the Cloud Security Alliance, etc. From scratch, we started working with others. Then another task group was sort of had the oversight of defining some use cases They ended up defining so many they had then to define master use cases. Because this was against those use cases that the standards would be mapped. If you try and do a map in Abstracto, you end up doing a Wikipedia, right? So they had to take some use cases in order to say these are the existing standards, and this is what might be missing, and so forth and so on. There was Telecom Italia and Microsoft. Is there any Microsoft in the room? No. Yes, no. And the third task group was the one who actually, and separated in different subgroups as per the Commission request, and did a big chunk of the work to identify indeed the relevant standards against these use cases. You have the timeline at the bottom. You have the name of the people. I don't know if you can see very clearly from the end, but I guess the slides will be online. And anyway, the report will soon be coming up. Along the way, we also organized in Madrid back in September a cloud interoperability week with a number of other forums. We had interoperability testing, workshops, etc. So it was sort of a busy time. I wouldn't want to go too much into first of all, I don't want to read my slides, and I wouldn't want to go too much in the detail of what each and every task group did. We did a focus on the results of the task group number 3, because this is the bulk. Ah, bah tiens, voilà, Abdelatif, one of the distinguished leaders of one of the task groups. Voilà. No, I'm not going to expand on this because I don't want to read slides. We have a final report which is coming up again. So it's being finalized right now. It's in the last phases of finalization because, again, this is what we'll be delivering with all the pomp and circumstances necessary to the Commission on December 11. There will be indeed in that definition of the role and of the different stakeholders, the use cases that again have been gathered, analyzed, ranked, and also identified a few. So it wasn't called, maybe Abdelat, if you remember, it wasn't called master use cases, it was called some kind of big blocks to narrow down the classification. The organizations with whom we worked and the ones that are very relevant, the mapping of the selected, so they called it cloud documents. There was a big discussion, of course, as you can imagine, what is a standard, what is a specification, and why not my specification, etc. So, voilà, it'll recap a number of standards, specification, and documents, and the points at the bottom with what we can deduce from this, which is about some consideration about the fragmentation and some considerations about the different issues the Commission highlighted, more generic than the pure standards mapping in support of that. These are the organizations we worked with and identified as relevant. You might as well read it. I'm not sure. Yeah. This is a detail of what I said. Yes, what I said in the previous slide. So 5 master use cases and 150 documents mapped with the use case activities. The next step, as I said, and I'm sorry I don't have the URL to register, but you're more than welcome to hook to our website. On 11 December, there'll be the delivery event, 10 to 4 in Brussels. And I think it'll be an interesting one, a well-attended event, because the cloud standards coordination was interesting, not only for the cloud, but I don't say this as a joke, not only for the cloud, but also for the standards coordination element, because it was a way of working with other organizations, which was actually very, not easy, very interesting, and I think all of us, and I'm not here speaking only about ETSI, learned quite a lot about how to cater for interoperability exposed, which is one of the questions that was posed to us by the Commission and to us collectively, that is. So we learned a lot along the way, and I think what will be delivered in December will be along those lines and will be pretty interesting. So please, you're more than welcome to attend, to register and attend. I think it'll be an interesting debate, and I hope it'll be just as heated as the launch event. And I thank you very much.